Hey guys, Amber here with A Meeple Family, and today I am going to be talking about another solo campaign that I recently completed, and that is the solo campaign from Lost Ruins of Arnak. So as many of you are aware, I love to play games solo, but I really like the game to also have a group component so that if my husband, kids, or friends want to play, it's not just taking up shelf space, only offering a solo game, but it's multi-purpose and we're able to get more out of the game. So the creators of Lost Ruins of Arnak came out with a solo campaign. This is an incredible experience where you actually use your iPad, and the iPad acts as your rival explorer. There are 4 chapters in this campaign, and as you progress forward, your character may or may not be able to move items forward based on the achievements and objectives they complete. You may find yourself rescuing assistants and keeping them with you for the duration of the game. This offers a lot of fun gameplay, and I'm excited to break down what I liked most about it. One of the components I really liked about it was, of course, the app integration. Though I'm not a huge fan of technology in my board game atmosphere, this one was okay because what I liked is that I could change the level of my rival explorer. You may or may not be aware that when you play solo, you do play with a rival explorer, and Lost Ruins of Arnak does have 3 varying difficulties, the highest being purple, then red, then the easiest being green. So when you are setting up your campaign, you can select how hard or easy you want this campaign to be. I played at different varying difficulties throughout the campaign, which I really enjoyed as well. Based on what difficulty you select to play as, you will be given starting resources that change. So whether that's 1 compass and 1 coin up to, 3 coins and a compass. So it does kind of help if you maybe aren't as strong at Lost Ruins of Arnak to let you still start off with a little bit extra help so that you can succeed in the objective of that chapter. I thought this was a really nice feature. I also feel like that's going to give some replayability. You can play through this campaign maybe at easy, medium, and hard, and that will allow you to have some of that replayability and increase your challenge as you replay. Another feature I really liked about this campaign was that within each chapter, of course, you have an overarching goal or objective that you must complete in order to win that chapter. But there are also bonus achievements you can aspire to achieve. When wrapping up and scoring, you are able to actually check off what you have done. So whether that is just the objective or these additional achievements. And I found that as you were able to achieve more in the game, you were given more rewards to take into your next chapter. I thought this was also a great option for replayability because you can replay these levels and try to strive to reach not only the overall goal or objective, but trying to reach these achievements to unlock additional perks you can carry on with you to the next chapter. I really liked this feature, and again, I felt like it gave it more replayability. And of course, the last thing I really thought Lost Ruins of Arnak solo campaign did really well was their app integration. What I didn't want when I sat down to play this was being on my screen the majority of the time or having to read a ton. They broke it down in such a simple way. So typically you would pick your rival challenge level. Again, that's that purple, red, and green. And you would set that up first. Then you're gonna kind of go over a little bit of a story or scenario. To be honest with you, I did skip over this part because I just really wanted to get into the setup and the gameplay. So of course, next would be the setup, where it does have you set up your board, and it gives you very detailed descriptions of what you need to do along with images, which I found really helpful because not everybody always knows the game terminology for each specific game they play, so having the pictures in the app made it really easy and seamless to set this up and get started. The last thing you're going to go over in the app before you get started with gameplay is, of course, the breakdown of rules for that individual chapter. I thought this was done so well. As a mom who also homeschools her kids, having clear, concise rules means a lot to me. I hate when I open a board game and I just don't feel like I completely understand what I'm supposed to do. And that can cause a lot of delay in getting started as you're rabbit trailing, trying to figure out what different things mean and making sure you're playing the game right. I love to play a board game with integrity, so if I feel like I'm not playing it the way it was meant to be played, I really struggle with that. I felt like this app did such a great job laying down how each chapter worked, and they did it so well. I also really liked that the app wasn't too overwhelming. It was beautiful yet simplistic, and I really appreciated that. There were different elements, of course, in this campaign game where you did have to refer back to the app to kind of unlock these special perks or abilities when different things were achieved. But again, it was very easy to know when that happened based on how they had you set the board up. All right, let's go over some cons that I experienced when playing this solo campaign and maybe just some things to keep in mind. And honestly, you can take what I say and hopefully apply these things or come up with solutions to make your gameplay an even better experience. So at this point, I'm sure you're used to or maybe have experienced the table presence of Lost Ruins of Arnak, which is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. When I initially laid this game out the very first time, I remember my husband walked by and he was like, "What is that?" Like, it is stunning, and it immediately pulls the attention of the room because people want to know, what is that gorgeous game? Now, with that being said, when it comes to gameplay, this board is just so big. So let me get to my cons for this experience, this campaign, going through these 4 chapters. They really come down to the mechanics of the board and physically how the board works during the gameplay. So for me, I ended up with a really sore neck and back due to probably just my stature. I'm short, I have short arms, and I had to have the main board horizontal, which I would much prefer to play vertically in front of me, but instead I'm looking at the side of the board. And, you know, between having to reach and hover out of my chair to see things and, you know, make sure I could read the cards and flipping cards and moving cards, placing explorers and so forth and so on, there was a lot of me hunching over the board because it is so big. So beautiful, but so big. So one of my cons, because I did play this consecutively kind of day after day to get in the rhythm, and plus, you know what, I had it out, I had it at the table. It was much easier just to keep playing through the campaign during my times of solo play than putting it away and getting it all back out. Another thing that was a little bit cumbersome because of the way I chose to play the campaign, which was back to back to back, they did alternate what sides of the board you were playing on. So as wonderful as this was, having that new landscape and experience every other chapter, it was a bit daunting to have to clear everything off, flipping that ginormous board over, and setting back up those core components of the game every time. Again, I did bring this on myself because I chose to play it one chapter after the next, but you know what? I had such a great time. It was worth it. And like I said, it was fun to kind of clear everything off and reset it up. Even though a little cumbersome. So overall, you guys can tell I really enjoyed Lost Ruins of Arnak solo campaign experience. I cannot recommend it enough. If you have this game sitting on your shelf and maybe you haven't had a group over to be able to get this to the table, do not fear. Get that solo app, and I will put a link to the solo app experience down in the description of this video for you to give it a try. If you have played this solo campaign, I would love to hear what your pros and cons were, how your experience was, and you know, tell me what you think of the board. Do you love the size of it, or do you find it a little bit cumbersome to maneuver and work around? I would love to hear your comments. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.